MV Celoni, a cargo ship loaded with cargo, destined for Port Rotterdam, Netherlands. On a tight schedule, Captain Gold was determined to make it. Having successfully navigated the Suez Canal, MV Celoni was well on its way to her destination, Port Rotterdam. Captain Gold began altering course to port, but the response from the helm to the rudder was not responsive as normal. Captain Gold cut speed of the ship and tried altering course to starboard, but the same sluggish response was received. Captain Gold was no engineer, but he knew something was wrong. So he immediately began contacting the engine control room.
Engine control, engine control, engine control. Bridge, over. Engine control, engine control, engine control. Bridge, over.
Bridge, engine control, Chief William speaking, send traffic, over.
Yes, Chief. I have observed a sluggish response from the steering gear when I tried to alter port. I also tried to alter starboard and I'm receiving the same sluggish response. Have that matter looked into urgently for me.
Yes, Captain, will do, over. That's Engineer West. Really. Information from the captain is that he tried altering course to port, sluggish movement in the helm, tried altering course to starboard, same thing. So I'd like you to go down and check the steering gear system in the steering gear compartment. Ensure to check the pressure gauge because I see some alarm here on the pressure. So do that for me, please.
Yes, Chief. Will do. Turn. Let's go. We have some work to do.
Second Engineer West also suited up and along with Third Engineer Henry, they both made their way down to the steering gear compartment to carry out inspection on the main steering gear system. On arrival, Second Engineer West made no hesitation to first check the pressure gauge. He then reported to the engine control room.
Engine control, engine control, engine control. This is Second Engineer West.
Second Engineer West, engine control, send traffic, over.
Yes, Chief. A check was carried out on the steering gear system and I checked the hydraulic pressure gauge on the steering gear unit and it was observed that the pressure was actually low. So we are awaiting your permission to carry out with maintenance.
Stand by. Allow me to inform the captain, over.
Standing by.
Bridge, 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 engine control, over.
Engine control, bridge. Captain Gold speaking. Send traffic. Over.
Yes, Captain. The hydraulic pressure is low and maintenance need to be carried out. Yes? And we're gonna need to switch to the emergency steering gear system to allow for the isolation of the main steering gear system. So we are seeking permission to carry out maintenance, Captain. Over.
Carry on, Chief. Keep me updated.
Will do, Captain. Engine control standing by. Over. Second Engineer West, Second Engineer West, Second Engineer West. Engine control. Over.
Engine control, this is Second Engineer West. Send traffic.
Yes, Mr. West. I'll have the fourth engineer, Jack, come to the steering compartment with the necessary tools needed. And he'll also be working along with you on the third. I've already switched to the emergency steering gear system, so carry out maintenance. We got permission. Over.
Roger that, Chief.
Hey, Jack.
Yes, Chief.
Yes, Jack. Get the microfiber cloths, bucket, and hydraulic oil for the steering gear system. You'll be going down to the steering gear compartment and you're going to be working along with the second and third engineer in maintenance on the system. So, suit up. Yes?
Yes, Chief, will do.
Oh, and Jack, ensure to grab the manual and the toolbox one time. Yeah, thanks.
Understood.
Fourth engineer Jack makes his way to the steering gear compartment, shuttling the requisite tools to do the job. Finally, he was done and awaiting the second engineer instructions.
Alright guys, we know what the problem is, so let's get this job done. Third, lock out and tap up the system. When that is completed, inform us. Fourth, you will go and release the pressure from the lines by operating the relief valve. Yes? Good. Let's go.
Third engineer Henry proceeded to cut power to the main steering gear system. He tagged it to ensure anyone seeing it would be aware that work is being done.
Second engineer West, second engineer West, second engineer West, third engineer Henry, over.
Third engineer Henry, send traffic. Over.
Lockout and tag out of the system is complete, over.
Roger. Return to the steering wheel compartment. Over. Fourth, you could start releasing the pressure from the line. And make sure you operate it slowly to avoid any accidents, yeah?
Second engineer West, second engineer West, second engineer West, fourth engineer Jack, over.
Fourth engineer Jack, send traffic. Over.
System purge completed, over.
Roger. System purge completed. Over.
Second engineer West began carrying out further inspection on the hydraulic oil level in the system. He observed the hydraulic oil level was normal. He knew exactly what the possible problems were.
Alright, third, the hydraulic oil level was normal, however, the pressure gauge was reading low. I want to do more checks on the filter. I have some reasons to believe that it's clogged. Okay? Please. Thanks.
Third engineer Henry grabbed the filter puller, microfiber cloth, and the bucket and headed for the filter. Using the filter puller, he began slowly loosening the filter. The filter was removed and he observed sludge build up at the filter and even around the filter slot. He then reported his findings to the second engineer, who then contacted the chief engineer in the engine control room.
Engine control room, engine control room, engine control room. This is second engineer West. Over.
Second engineer West, engine control, send traffic, over.
Chief, the filter was clogged due to sludging and I recommend immediate change to a filter, flushing, draining of the system, and recharging the system as per manufacturer requirements. Over.
West. I figured it from the cloud, you know. You wouldn't believe what I just read in the engine logbook.
What is it, Chief?
In the logbook in regards to maintenance done previously in the system, would you believe, West, that third engineer Wacky topped up the system with a different grade of oil?
I lie. I joked in this. So I encountered these issues before and just pull a quick fix.
Yes, West. It does not look good at all. Just ensure you read the manual set down there with Jack and that you put the correct grade of oil as the manual stipulates. Yes?
Meanwhile, the engineers are conducting maintenance on the main steering gear system. The chief engineer is in constant communication with the captain, informing him of the findings of the engineers and the steps they are about to take in rectifying the issue.
Engine control, engine control, engine control. Second engineer West. Over.
Second engineer West, engine control, send traffic, over.
Filter change system recharged and ready for testing. We are currently awaiting further instructions to carry out such tests. Over.
Standby. Over. Bridge. Engine control. Over.
Engine control, bridge. Captain Gold speaking. Send traffic. Over.
Yes, Captain. Maintenance completed. I'm now seeking a permission to switch back to the main steering gear system for a test to be carried out.
Yes, Chief.
Chief Engineer Williams informed the second engineer and grants permission to carry on with the test. The second engineer, third engineer, and fourth prepared for the test. They all maintained observation on the pressure gauge, the hydraulic oil level, and the check for leaks. They also listened out and feel for abnormal vibrations and sounds. All were in good operational condition. The second engineer reports the success to the chief engineer, who wasted no time to report it to the captain.
Yes, Captain. Good news. The steering gear system issue has been sorted. Filter have been changed. It was clogged due to sludge. We flushed the system and we recharged it with the proper grade oil as the manual stipulated. During testing, the engineers looked for leaks. No leaks. Everything seemed to be in good operational order. Over.
Thank you, Chief. Good job. I tried altering port and it responded well. Thank you again.
The engineers stayed in the steering gear compartment, carrying out housekeeping, cleaning tools and working areas, ensuring that everything was left clean and packed away in avoidance of possible accident it may cause in the future.
Every day I make clean. I don't know where I make clean. Clean up. Every day I make clean. I don't know where I make clean.
Nation, when you see me, I so looking like my last year. When I last, me just a looking at my thoughts. And pray some things what people don't mean out the past. Knock like some are perfect, everybody have them flaws. Long before the COVID thing, done enough for them, I wear a mask, yeah. Watch them kill it as them try go round the bus, yeah.
The engineers returned to the engine control room, where Second Engineer West began making notes of diagnosis, maintenance, and by whom the maintenance was carried out in the logbook. The oil record book was also filled up due to the change of hydraulic oil and filter. On completion of all the records being made, the chief double-checked and signed off. MV Siloni was able to make it to Port Rotterdam, thanks to a competent engineering department and captain.
Forget but kind of for them are some praise. The only thing my beg the Father protect me from enemies, alright. Always for my kills and my base. Enough time it get lonely but company at the least. There's a different energy when me get higher for the trees. Tanisha says she feel it all the way across the seas. There's a natural mystic blowing through the air, yeah. And if you listen carefully now,